time to meet the men from the ministry. We present Wilfred Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to the men who rule our lives and who know that you cannot fool all the people all the time, unless you make a full-time job of it. Government officials know the need for practical experience of the matters they deal with. Those working for the Ministry of Agriculture, for instance, must learn about farming and animals.
Well, that's got all the cows in the milking sheds. Now let's get the tractor out.
Now, I thought we might do something about these geese next. Move them out of the field back into the farmyard.
Oh, let's get the tractor out
Now,
first.
I'm awfully sorry, but I'm going to move the geese. Would you excuse me, please?
Oh, now
dear.
look what you've done.
It's your fault.
Knocked the whole farm onto the floor. I heard things break, too.
The only one that's broken is the giraffe, and he looked out of place on a farm anyway.
Perhaps he did, but he was only ninepence, and I thought he looked rather nice. Oh, well, I suppose we'd better get on with some work now anyway. Since we've been with the Minnebag, it's been all go, hasn't it?
There's a vital job to be done, you know. These farmer chaps are very headstrong. There's no knowing what colossal amounts of food they'd grow if we didn't keep them in check.
Quite apart from these independent types who won't conform to ministry
That
rules.
reminds me, what happened to that fellow who's giving trouble with his vegetable marrows? Growing them with less than the requisite number of pips, wasn't he?
That's right. When we pointed out his marrows didn't meet government specifications, he turned very nasty.
Yes, I remember. Hit back by breeding a marrow with the stripes going round and round instead of... Wretched business. What did we do?
Oh, heavy fine. Stopped his fertilizer allocation.
Of course. The only thing we could do. And Miss Adams said we'd had some problem from the egg marketing board. What was that?
Yes, there's a consignment of eggs they've overlooked.
Oh.
Been in the warehouse for 8 weeks. They were wondering if they could stamp them with the little lion. I said it'd be all right if the little lion was holding its nose.
Very good.
I don't think they were very pleased.
Well, I'm not surprised. You know, you mustn't joke about ministry matters. No. How about the milk marketing board? Any reaction on that bunch of new slogans we submitted?
I had their reply today. I'm afraid they're still obsessed by that drink a pint of milker stuff.
Why? What's their note say?
Well, talking about the new slogans we sent them, it says, "Gotcha letter yesterday, what a lot of wasted ink. Not a bit of good at all, better have another think."
Well, that's not very nice of them after all the hard work we put in. Well, now I've solved all these problems, I think I'll stroll down to St. James's Park and feed the ducks. Pass me that file from the in tray, would you?
Yeah, this one marked United Kingdom wheat produce.
That's the one, yes. Got all those old crusts and breadcrumbs in it. Thank you.
Have you forgotten the man from the Rhubarb Marketing Board? He's coming to see us at 12:15.
Good gracious, yes, the Rhubarb Marketing Board. What a nuisance.
Apparently he's been sent by the minister, so he must be rather important.
The minister, yes, he must be. I suppose we'd better look businesslike, hadn't we? Pop that putter in the cupboard, would you, please? Yes. And put this file away. Oh, dear, all the bread's dropped on the floor.
All right, I'll gather it up and put it somewhere.
Don't put it in a wastepaper basket, too. It looks tatty.
All right, I'll put it in this box for the moment.
Yeah, wretched time for anyone to call.
Excuse me, your secretary said I was to come straight in.
Oh, of course, come straight in. You're the Rhubarb man.
Oh, Wright is my name, Rudwell Wright.
I see.
Secretary of the Rhubarb Marketing Board.
Of course. Delighted to see you. Too, Mr. Wright has come along.
How do you do?
I'm Hamilton Jones. This is my assistant, Richard Lamb. We're both keen rhubarb eaters.
Yes, indeed. Nothing to touch rhubarb for...
Careful.
Nothing to touch it.
Oh, how interesting. I can't stand the stuff myself.
Oh?
Very coarse vegetable, I always think.
Yes, I quite agree with you. I think so myself. Yes. Do sit down, my dear fellow, and tell us how we can help.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I expect you know the Rhubarb Marketing Board exists primarily to supervise the marketing of rhubarb.
Is that so?
And in particular, of course, to maintain the highest standards for the British product.
Highest standard, of course, nothing else.
We have to ensure that anyone buying British rhubarb knows what they're buying.
Oh, they'd hardly buy rhubarb by accident, would they?
Quite. And it's especially vital at this time when British rhubarb has to compete with rhubarb from Iron Curtain companies.
Oh, never thought of that.
No, what I might call...
Red rhubarb?
Red rhubarb, exactly. It is especially vital that all British rhubarb is of standard length and thickness. Now, on the whole, the farmers cooperate very well, but at the moment, we are having a spot of trouble. That's why the minister asked me to come along and put you in the picture.
Oh, the minister, yes, quite right. Would you have a cigarette, Mr.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, the box seems to be full of bread. Stale bread.
Stale bread? What are you talking about? Oh, yes, of course. Oh, stale bread, yes. Samples, you know, yes. For analysis. Just push it aside. You'll find the cigarettes underneath somewhere.
There is one fellow who won't cooperate at all.
Yes?
A chap called Burge, Nathaniel Burge.
Burge.
He has a farm down in the West Country.
Gives trouble, does he?
Oh, indeed he does. He persistently flouts one of our principal rules, which is that all rhubarb should be cut and marketed at not more than 14 inches long. He grows, you will scarcely believe this, he actually grows his anything up to 16 inches.
Oh, that won't do at all. Nasty business.
The swine.
Yes.
Yes, I knew you'd be shocked. His idea, of course, is to get more rhubarb.
I see.
But anyway, we wrote him several letters to which he didn't reply.
Oh.
Then 6 weeks ago, we sent one of our chaps from Bristol down to see him.
Oh, what happened?
We don't know. He hasn't come back yet.
Hasn't come back? Good gracious, you don't mean there's been violence?
Now, nothing as simple as that. The Bristol office simply got a letter from their man. Said he was resigning to start a small holding and planned to grow rhubarb 20 inches long.
Government servant going over to the enemy?
Well, of course, he was a provincial man.
Oh, I see. He was a provincial man.
It's obvious now, you see, that this thing must be dealt with at a higher level. And that's why we want you, too, to go down and see Bert.
Could you tell us something more about him?
Well, he fancies himself as a bit of a rebel. I mean, you know the sort. He's an old chap about 80, apparently.
80?
Oh, a bit touched, I should think.
Yeah, but you did say he wasn't violent.
Oh, I'm sure there's no likelihood of that.
Well, I think you'd find we could get this chap into line for you. Tell you what, we'll take a book of regulations down and see what else we can catch him on. That'll be the game.
Yes, capital. You only have to tell him that if he doesn't toe the line, the board can fine him heavily and cut off his subsidy.
Oh, we'll cut off his... Oh, yes, in no time. Yes. Oh, it's as good as off, yes. The West Country will look marvellous at this time of year. There'll be a chance to get a bit of sunshine.
I've not seen a better drop of rain since the floods in 1908. They certainly picked the right old day for their visit, didn't they, Rebecca?
Oh. Who picked the right old day for a visit, Nathaniel?
Them fancy folk from London did. Them men from the ministry. Danged impudence. You saw their letter, didn't you? Coming today they are. Inspect mine crop, they said, with a view to disciplinary measures.
Oh. What time you reckon they'll be here, then?
There's only one train into grinding all today, and that's at 12 o'clock. So I reckon they'll be here about 5.
Oh. I suppose they'll be taking old George's taxi from the station.
No. I don't think old George will be running his taxi today, Rebecca.
How can you be so sure of that, then?
Well, I happened to slip old George a little something to stay in bed today.
What little something did you slip in, then, Nathaniel?
2 tons of Swedes. Yeah, slipped them off the back of me lorry while old George was looking up me big end.
Oh. Then how will the gentleman from London get here from the station?
Well, shanks his pony, I expect.
Oh. You mean walk? But it's all a 4 mile.
4 miles? 10 miles, if you come by way of Wurzel Bottom.
Oh. But no one had come by way of Wurzel Bottom, Nathaniel.
They would have signposts at crossroads been moved round in the night, they would.
Oh. Well, I suppose they'll get here in the end.
They'll get here right enough. It's getting away they'll find a bit more difficult, won't they, eh? Tell you what, Rebecca, when the rain stops, do you go down to the village to the chemist, get a new roll of film for my daddy's camera. Yeah, Gert Luby's from London Oil, teach 'em.
It's no use, man. I can't walk another step.
Pull yourself together, we're nearly there.
But we must have come 10 miles.
Well, it's given our clothes time to dry after that storm, anyway. Must look on the bright side, you know.
Oh, my feet are almost numb.
Don't bother about your feet. Come on, show a bit of spirit.
Well, it's all very well for you sitting in the wheelbarrow, but I've got to do the pushing.
Now, don't fuss. We were lucky to find this wheelbarrow. Seems the only thing with wheels in the whole county. And it's most important at least one of us to keep fresh to give this rogue what for.
That may be, but I think it's the most undignified way for a ministry official to arrive.
Quite right. As soon as we get within sight of the farm, I'll get out. I don't mind a bit of walking, you see.
Well, that's Sunnybrook Farm round the corner.
Is it? Then if you just rest the wheelbarrow a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. Give me a bit of a brush down, would you?
Right.
Must remember that to these simple people we represent all the prestige and dignity of London. We're the voice of the government, the
I
symbol
don't
of authority.
think we'll get this muck off your trousers.
What are you
Ron.
talking about?
I don't know what was in the wheelbarrow before.
That'll do. Now, there's the gate. I'll lead the way, then they'll know we mean business.
What was that?
I should say it was a shotgun. But the fellow's not violent, according to Rudwell Wright.
Well, Rudwell Wright could be very well wrong.
I'll be very cross if he is. Now, you go in first.
But if he's got a shotgun...
Oh, don't be silly, too. He'd never dare shoot at a ministry man. He'd get 20 years.
Yes, I know that, and you know that, but I wonder if he knows it.
Hello there.
Hello. How do you do?
Well, I expect you'll be the men from the ministry, eh?
Yes, we be the men from the... I beg your pardon. I mean, we're the men from the ministry, yeah. Yeah, you can get 20 years for shooting at a senior official, or 13 for shooting my assistant. Yeah.
Now, don't you worry about this here old gun, sir. I've been shooting rooks.
Have you?
Rooks.
Then perhaps I should remind you that under the Firearms and Flintlocks Act of 1648, paragraph 5, it's illegal to discharge firearms near the public highway.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yes.
well, then I beg your pardon, sir. I must have missed that bit when I read it.
Well, you better read it again.
Yeah, I will, sir. Now, look, I'll just put this gun away, sir. Wouldn't want to go breaking the law, sir. Now, if you'll just both step inside the yard here.
There you are, too, you see. What you got to do is to take a strong line with these people. Must put your foot down.
Yes. Only mind what you put your foot down into.
I take it that you're the owner of this property, Mr. And your full name is Nathaniel Burge, am I right?
Yes, yeah, quite right, sir. Yes, Nathaniel Albert St. Pancras Burge.
St. Pancras?
That's right, sir, yes. Well, my old dad, you see, he went on one of these here newfangled steam trains once. He saw the name and took a fancy to it. Now, if you don't want to stand around here fiddle-faddling, do you?
No.
Come along inside and have a cup of tea, will you?
Very kind of you, Mr. Burge, but I think you should know that we're here on a mission of some gravity.
Yes, and we ought to go straight out and inspect the rhubarb before it gets dark.
Oh, no. It gets dark very late in these parts.
Does
yes.
it?
Oh, very late, yes. Well, it's on account of the church clock. You see, it's slow.
Oh, yeah.
Now, come along in, will you? Now, never mind about the tea, eh? We'll have a little drink, shall
Oh,
us?
very well. Perhaps for a moment, then. Come along, too. Look out. The front door's a bit low.
Oh, what was that one?
Doesn't matter now.
This way, gentlemen. Now then, sit you down. That's right. Rebecca,
Oh, you got-
bring in some of your rhubarb wine for the gentlemen.
Yes. Look, Mr. Burge, we really shouldn't trouble your good lady, and we've got a lot of questions to ask you.
No trouble. Now, here you are. Rebecca. Now, these are the gentlemen from London.
How do you do? How do you do,
from London,
Mrs.
they
Burge?
come.
How do you do? I'm sure.
How do you do?
How do you do? I'm sure, yes. Mr. Burge, we're here on behalf of the Rhubarb Marketing Board.
Yes, of course you are. Well, don't worry. Rebecca will give you the recipe before you go. Now then, a nice drop of this will see you all right, eh? There we are. Now let's all drink up then, eh? Here. Here's the good old ministry.
Oh, well, I suppose we'll have to drink to that. Thank
Yes.
you.
Might as well try this stuff anyway.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good luck to
Bottoms up,
you.
sir.
Thank
Good luck.
you. Oh, I say, this is really rather good, I must say.
It isn't bad, is it?
No.
A little rough and unpretentious, of course.
Well, of
but
course.
Yes, I'll have some more if you insist.
Of course. Well, bless you. Some more for you too, sir, eh?
Thank you.
Plenty here, you know. Yes. Rebecca puts down 20 gallons every year.
Do you really?
Pretty
That's
good.
very clever of you. Yeah. Now then, we really must be getting down to business. Mr. Burge, the ministry's been given to understand that you're growing rhubarb of longer than statutory length.
You see, the fact is that we're simple country folk. You see, we don't know about this your measuring things. Now, I left school at 11, I did. Of course, I only started when I was 10 and a half. So, it's no wonder I get confused with all this talk and measuring things.
Oh, I see.
Rebecca, fill the gentleman's glass.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Get another few bottles, will you, old girl? This one nearly empty.
Oh, well, very well, Nathan.
Oh? It's not only the length of your rhubarb, Mr. Burge.
No.
There seem to be other irregularities. For instance, as we came in the house, I couldn't help noticing a large black bull looking out of one of the upstairs windows.
Yeah, that's quite right, sir. That's old Rufus. He's a beauty, isn't he?
Possibly, but you must realize it's quite against ministry regulations for a bull of that size to have no ring through its nose.
It's quite right. You can't just flout the rules, Mr. Burge. That's why we're here to see you.
And very kind of you to come all this way, sir, I say. Now, let me pour you another cup of wine.
Thank you. Of course, you won't find us unreasonable. If you play ball with the ministry will play ball with you. And in that way, we can
All play ball together.
we can all play ball together. Exactly. Yes. This rhubarb wine really is excellent. Very subtle flavor, isn't it?
So old Fred said, he said, and why didn't you try to turn the old cow round the other way?
Very amusing, Mr. Bird. Thank you. You're quite a raconteur, you know. By the way, did I tell you that story I heard on the bus the other day?
No, I don't believe you did.
Well, then I hope she'll have the pleasure to tell it to us now,
Yes,
sir.
certainly.
And we'll hear it. Now, fill up the glasses, Rebecca.
No, really, it's the third bottle.
Don't you worry, sir. Oh, don't worry. It is very gentle, this rhubarb wine.
It's gentle.
Oh, yes. The Berger down in the village, he drank 12 bottles last New Year's Eve.
Oh, and didn't he wake up with a hangover?
Oh, no hangover at all. Well, as a matter of fact, he didn't wake up at all. No, but then, of course, he'd been poorly for a long while, you see. With the crumbles, you know.
Oh, the crumbles.
Yes,
Crumbles.
Well, good health.
Yeah, good luck with it.
Now, what about this your story of yours?
Oh,
sir?
yes, well, I thought it was rather amusing. A fellow in front of me in the bus was telling it to his friend.
Oh.
It was about an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman.
This is going to be a very good one.
Yes, I think so. Look, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
It seems that the Englishman, the Irishman, and Scotsman were all staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
And then there was a chambermaid, who apparently was a rather attractive girl, attractive chambermaid, you know. She was going around the rooms, turned down the beds and that
Turned
sort of
down
thing.
the
You
beds.
follow me?
Oh, we're with you so
Yes,
far.
good. Well, she went to the Scotsman's room, and he said, I won't attempt to do a Scots accent, though the fellow on the bus did it rather well. Anyway, the Scotsman said, I shan't want tea in the morning. So then she went into the Scotsman's room, and...
No. She's
What?
been in the Scotsman's room. This
Oh.
must have been the Englishman's or the Irishman's.
Oh, I say, did I say she was in the Scotsman's room? Yes. Well, you're quite right, thank you very much. Then she must have gone into the Irishman's room, you see? And the Irishman said, I shall want tea in the morning. Yes. And after that, the girl went into the... which room has she been in before? She went into the Englishman's room. Yes, that's right. She went in the Englishman's room. Yes.
Well, what happened then?
I don't know. The bus reached Hyde Park Corner and the fella got off. Rather a pity, I thought.
Well, never mind, sir, never mind. It was quite funny enough as it were. As far as it went. Very good, sir. Weren't it, Rebecca? Very funny. Very funny.
Do you mind if I call you Rebecca? Yes. My goodness, I haven't enjoyed myself so much since VJ night. Or was it VE night? I always get it muddled up. Drink up, too. You're lagging behind.
I was just thinking what a marvellous time people have in the country. You know, we Londoners have lost touch with life's simple pleasures.
Yes, simple play. You're quite right.
I don't know how you put up with that there in London, from what I hear of it. You don't have no fresh air? Don't wake up and hear the birds singing?
No, you sometimes wake up and hear the birds coughing.
And there's all that traffic and the noise, not the way we were meant to live, you know.
You're quite right there, sir.
Of course, I'm a countryman at heart, actually, descended from farming stock, you know. Gentlemen farmers, of course.
What a coincidence.
I thought you two looked as if you knowed something about farming.
Oh, know something about it, my dear fellow. It's my keenest interest. Often thought of buying a little place when I retire, as a matter of fact.
Hey, me too.
Well, you're very wise, gentlemen, but why wait to retire? Now, funnily enough, I happen to know a nice little small holding going cheap right now.
Oh, for sale, you mean? Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, I hardly think one could travel up to the ministry every day from here.
No, I
could
don't
one?
think we could.
No. Perhaps I brought up a bit too soon. And, well, have a few more glasses, and then we'll talk about it later, shall we?
I hate to mention it, but I suppose it really is time we went out to look at the farm.
Yes, I suppose it is. Quite right. Mr. Burge, we really must go out and look at the farm.
Oh, bless you, sir. You can't go out there now. 'Tis dark.
Dark?
Dark,
So it, bless my soul. Do you realize it's 11 o'clock?
Oh, dear. Well, it looks as if we'll have to go away and come back tomorrow morning.
Yes.
No, we can go away. No, never. No, wouldn't hear of it. We can put you up for the night, can't we, Rebecca?
But we've got rooms at the village inn.
No, they'll have locked up by now. Now, you stay here. That's all settled.
Well, very kind of you, Mr. Burge. Well, what do you think, too? We could get an early start in the morning and see over the whole farm, couldn't we?
Well, I'm happy if you are one.
Yes, well, how kind
as
of
long
you.
as it's not the room with the bull in it.
Don't you worry about that, sir. That's Rebecca's room now. We'll fix you up. All nice and snug, we'll fix you up. And anyway, the party can go on for a bit, can't it? Now, fill the glasses, Rebecca, and wind up the gramophone. Go on. We'll have some dancing.
There's no getting away from it, too. They certainly know how to enjoy themselves in the country. Be quiet. That's better. What's that? Oh, my head. Where am I? Two, what do you think you're doing lying on the mantelpiece? Two, wake up. Wake
What's
up.
That? Oh, where am I?
You're in the fireplace now. What are we doing here, for heaven's sake?
Look. Oh, it's coming back to me. The farm, the party.
Oh.
That chap Burge put us up.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
How do you feel, one?
Terrible. What's the time?
7 o'clock. Do you think it's worth going to sleep again?
Not unless you could be sure you wouldn't wake up again. What were we drinking last night? Sheep dip?
Mrs. Burge's rhubarb wine.
Rhubarb wine? Oh, dear. Is that what it was? Rhubarb. Rhubarb. That rings a bell. Oh, yes. We got to give this chap Burge what for? About his rhubarb. Of course we
That's
have.
right. It's obvious the old devil's been breaking the rules.
Obvious.
Remember how he kept holding us back last night when we wanted to go out and inspect the crop?
I don't remember a great deal about last night, but I do remember that. Pass me my socks, would you please?
Yeah.
Thank you. And my briefcase, if you would. Just check the essential papers.
Here you are, one. The way I feel this morning, Mr. Burge won't know what hit him.
Let me see now. Form 101, output questionnaire. Hello, what's this?
What's what?
It looks like a bill of sale. By this deed, we, the undersigned, do herewith purchase from Nathaniel Burge that 30 acres of desirable farming land known as arid pastures. In consideration whereof, we shall pay the said Nathaniel Burge the sum of £10,000, signed Roland Hamilton Jones, Richard Lamb. Oh, my goodness.
But that's us.
Well, of course it's us. How did it happen?
Oh, dear, I think it must have been somewhere after the bit where you stopped remembering.
Do you remember it?
I'm beginning to get a ghastly
These
glimmer.
are our signatures, all right. It's monstrous, monstrous.
Tear it up.
No good doing that. Bird is sure to have a copy.
Well, it looks like a legal document, too.
Don't you see? This is how he trapped that poor devil from the Bristol office.
It's fantastic. Anyone who's after him, he fills with rhubarb wine and sells a small piece of land for a large piece of money. Changes him overnight from avenging angel into Dan Archer.
Yes. Well, he may have fooled the Bristol chap, but he won't fool me. There are a dozen reasons why no court would uphold this contract. Now, let's find that crumbling rustic and tell him so.
I reckon I could manage another 3 of them there poached eggs.
Oh, here are then, Nathaniel.
Just have a couple more steaks, that's it. Busy day today. I got to shoot them wood pigeons in the top field, and then I got to shoot them rooks.
Oh. What about the men from the ministry, then?
Well, I may not need to shoot them after all. Yeah, I reckon they'll shoot themselves when they see how the land lies, eh? We'll have no more bother from they.
Ah, there you are, Burge. We want a word with you, please.
Morning, gentlemen. Well, I hope you slept well.
Never mind about that. What about this?
Arid pastures.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You can't enforce this agreement, and you know it. And furthermore...
Bless you, sir, I wouldn't dream of forcing it. If you don't want the place, you just tear it up.
Oh?
Mind you, now your jobs at the ministry are finished, it'd be a nice place to retire to,
Nevertheless,
wouldn't it?
What do you mean we're not due to retire? What do you think?
Our jobs at the ministry aren't finished.
Of course not.
Well, they will be, won't they? When the newspapers get all the photographs I took last night.
Newspaper?
Photograph?
At our
What
little...
photographs?
Well, at our little party, you know, you two gentlemen, you were so merry and friendly with all the drinking and laughing and that. I thought we should have a few pictures, eh?
True, I don't like the sound of this. Wish I could remember what happened last night.
Well, for instance, you, sir. I got a good one of you. Riding up and down and shouting, "Forward the Light Brigade!" and waving your umbrella.
Did I do that? Well, it sounds a bit flamboyant, perhaps, but there's nothing basically wrong with riding up and down.
But it looks a bit daft on our old black sound.
Oh, my goodness. I think I'd better sit down for a minute.
You really were rather indiscreet, one. It's all coming back to me. You kept shouting, "Tally-ho," and trying to make him jump over his trough. I remember it now.
Well, you should do. You was lying in the truck. Bail it out, you were, with your bowler hat and singing the Eating Boating song.
Oh.
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 copies of that one, haven't I?
Well, I'd rather not see them, thank you.
Well, I doubt if the newspapers will feel the same way. I think they'll be very interested.
Just a minute. You mean we keep quiet about your rhubarb, or you publish the pictures? This is blackmail, Mr. Burr?
Well, I just leave you talking over amongst yourselves. Now, come along, Rebecca.
Brownlow, have we heard from Hamilton, Jones and Lamb on that Burge business?
No, Mr. Wright, not a word.
It's strange. It's over a week since they went down there. I suppose they're back in their offices, are they?
No, I rang their department this morning. Nothing's been heard of them at all. They're rather worried.
Worried, are they?
Yes, it seems Mr. Lamb has taken their teaspoon with him.
They've disappeared like that Bristol chap. I shall have to go down there myself. Order my car for 2:15, will you?
Haven't you forgotten this afternoon's meeting of the marketing board? There are those new proposals from the research department.
Yes, of course. I can't leave till tomorrow, then. You'd better have the car here in the morning, first thing, 11:30.
Look, we've got to try something, man. We've been stuck in this terrible country pub for a week, and the truce expires tomorrow. If Birds doesn't get written permission to grow rhubarb of any length, he'll send these pictures to the Daily Mirror.
Yes, well, I know the terms of the truce, thank you very much. I negotiated myself. Give me time to think. Time to get things in perspective and work out a just and sensible solution.
Oh, and have you thought of one?
No.
No. Well, I wish you'd give more thought to our problem and less to that American magazine you found in the bar.
True. If anything can help us, this book can. See this article?
What? Persuasion pays people-wise. What does that mean?
It's by a top American psychiatrist, Julius J. Snyder. He says you can get anybody to do anything if you put it the right way. Try and make them and they won't. But ask them nicely and they will.
We should introduce Mr. Snyder to Mr. Birds.
That, my dear fellow, is exactly what I propose to do. His methods, anyway. I see now we tackled Birds wrongly from the first. You adopted a hostile, masterful attitude, so he reacted. Now, tonight I'll talk to Birds the Snyder way, show him the rules are for his benefit, explain that by breaking them he lets the country down.
Well, if you persuade him to destroy those photographs and cut his rhubarb, I'll eat the first 4 sticks myself. Raw.
Well, friends, that be the last of the rhubarb cut. All pink and pretty and regulation length.
Well done, Nathaniel. That country's proud of you.
Well, it does my heart good to hear that. We pass this way but once, I say.
And in the case of this place, I say so, too.
And thank you, Nathaniel, for the photographs. They're all in this envelope, are they?
That's right, sir. Now, I want you both to have a good look round the farm before you go. See if I'm breaking any other rules without knowing, like. Must have everything how the government wants it. You showed me that last night, H.J.
I'm sure we both learnt a lot from each other, Nathaniel.
No. It was you who made me see the light. I'll not forget that little rhyme you taught me. What sort of place would England be if every chap behaved like I? Now, who can that be? Bit early for old George's taxi, isn't it? Well, I'd better go and see. Rebecca's out the back.
Oh, I don't know what you were telling him till 4 o'clock this morning, but it certainly worked.
Well, I appeal to his spirit of fair play, his common sense, and finally his patriotic feelings. And, of course, my mention of a possible spread of Robinson's rhubarb rot may have helped.
Oh, was that why I spent the night painting white spots on the larger leaves?
Not so loud. Anyway, the main thing is his whole crop stacked in neat 14-inch lengths, ready for market. Our job's done and everybody's happy.
This way, sir. There they are.
I found you at last, you two. London's been very worried about you. Thought you'd disappeared.
No, we've been guests of our good friend Mr. Birds here.
Well, it's a pity you missed yesterday's meeting of the Rhubarb Marketing Board. We made some important decisions.
Did you?
Our research chemists have made a major breakthrough. They've now discovered that longer rhubarb has more vitamins. Now, guess what?
You tell us, Mr. Wright.
As from this morning, no rhubarb can be marketed less than 16 inches long. That will be good news for you, Mr. Bird.
Dang and blast me. Rebecca, fetch me my gun.
Now, steady, Nathaniel, steady. Don't let's be crude about this. Mr. Wright, I'm sure you must be very thirsty after your long journey. Why don't you try a little of this excellent rhubarb wine?
Oh, very well, then. And later on, you can put me in the picture.
In the picture? Don't worry, Mr. Wright. We'll put you in the picture.
Oh, that's good. Splendid.
Muddling through as the men from the Ministry were Wilfred Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch, with Roy Dotrice, Brian Elton, and Patricia Hayes. The Men from the Ministry is written and produced by Edward Taylor.
Wilfred Hyde-White is now appearing in Miss Pell is Missing at the Criterion Theatre, London.
Time to meet the Men from the Ministry. We present Wilfred Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to the men who rule our lives and who know that you cannot fool all the people all the time, unless you make a full-time job of it. Government officials know the need for practical experience of the matters they deal with. Those working for the Ministry of Agriculture, for instance, must learn about farming and animals.
Well, that's got all the cows in the milking sheds. Now let's get the tractor out.
Now, I thought we might do something about these geese next. Move them out of the field back into the farmyard.
Oh, let's get the tractor out
Now, I'm
first.
awfully sorry, but I'm going to move the geese. Would you excuse me, please?
Oh, now
dear.
look what you've done.
It's your fault.
Knocked the whole farm onto the floor. I heard things break, too.
The only one that's broken is the giraffe, and he looked out of place on a farm anyway.
Perhaps he did, but he was only ninepence, and I thought he looked rather nice. Oh, well, I suppose we'd better get on with some work now anyway. Since we've been with the minnow bag, it's been all go, hasn't it?
There's a vital job to be done, you know. These farmer chaps are very headstrong. There's no knowing what colossal amounts of food they'd grow if we didn't keep them in check.
Quite apart from these independent types who won't conform to ministry
That
rules.
reminds me, what happened to that fellow who's giving trouble with his vegetable marrows? Growing them with less than the requisite number of pips, wasn't he?
That's right. When we pointed out his marrows didn't meet government specifications, he turned very nasty.
Yes, I remember. Hit back by breeding a marrow with the stripes going round and round instead of along. Wretched business. What did we do?
Oh, heavy fine. Stopped his fertilizer allocation.
Of course. The only thing we could do. And Miss Adams said we'd had some problem from the egg marketing board. What was that?
Yes, there's a consignment of eggs they've overlooked.
Oh.
Been in the warehouse for 8 weeks. They were wondering if they could stamp them with the little lion. I said it'd be all right if the little lion was holding its nose.
Very good.
I don't think they were very pleased.
Well, I'm not surprised. You know, you mustn't joke about ministry matters. How about the milk marketing board? Any reaction on that bunch of new slogans we submitted?
I had their reply today. I'm afraid they're still obsessed by that drink a pint of milker stuff.
Why? What's their note say?
Well, talking about the new slogans we sent them, it says, "Gotcha letter yesterday, what a lotta wasted ink. Not a bit of good at all, better have another think."
Well, that's not very nice of them after all the hard work we put in. Well, now I've solved all these problems, I think I'll stroll down to St. James's Park and feed the ducks. Pass me that file from the in tray, would you?
Yeah, this one marked United Kingdom wheat produce.
That's the one, yes. Got all those old crusts and breadcrumbs in it. Thank you.
Have you forgotten the man